Hello, and welcome to my channel. Now, if it's your first time here, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. Today, as you can see, I'm taking a look at the MMS204 ED-209. This is the third iteration of ED-209 that Hot Toys put out there, so it essentially is a 2.0. There was a version that came out in 2006, a battle damage version that came out in 2007, and then this version here that came out in 2013. So there are a few out there. This is the most up-to-date one so far. We might get a 3.0 given that, you know, a recent tease of RoboCop 2 and RoboCane have been, you know, teased, so maybe we'll get an updated version of this guy again. I don't know, but just having a quick look at the box before we get into the details, and you can see it's quite a big box. You know, it is a big piece. Image of ED-209 on the front there, that is actually textured. That the front there is a textured kind of feel to it, and on the back we just have some details of who produced it, who made it, who painted it, you know, and then some warnings on the bottom. So nothing over the top on the back of it. So without further ado, let's get him out of the box. So inside the box we have this foam insert that ED-209 is in, and as I take off the lid you can see it says ED-209 embossed on the lid there. And then taking off the lid you can see that we have ED-209 in plastic, wrapped in plastic. It's as you can see, it's packaged quite well. The foam keeps them good and safe. And as a lot of people know, and Hot Toys well know, that this part here is you know, common to crack and deteriorate. So if they do bring out a 3.0 of this, I wouldn't be surprised, because a lot of them didn't survive because of this material here. It's very gunky. It's tacky. That's the word I'm looking for. Tacky. It's a tacky material. It's like a sticky rubber. Anyway, let me get him out of the box and we'll take a closer look. So here we have him out of the box, and as you can see, he does not come in one complete piece. There is a little bit of assembly needed for him. Just going through the parts, I suppose. Obviously we have his right leg, we have the main body of him here, and as I mentioned just a moment ago, this part here was a bit gooey and it was well known to deteriorate. I think even Hot Toys at some point put out some information on how to prevent it from cracking. We have his left leg there, we have his right arm, we have his battle damaged arm and an option to put on, you know, and then we have his left arm. We also have 3 rockets there that go onto the right arm, and then we have this little attachment that goes on the right arm. I think it's maybe a rangefinder or something, I'm not sure what it is. And then we have the remote control for the sound activation that says RoboCop on it. So let's get him all set up and we'll take it from there, and we'll get into some more details of him. So I wasn't going to set this up on camera, guys, but I will give it a go and try and do some assembly on camera, and try not to break anything while I'm doing this. And just to give you an idea of how he's put together, you can see this little tab here and this one on this side here. Yeah, these 2 little tabs here that slot into these holes here. Does he need to be fully extended? Those legs do extend. No, I don't know. I think I can assemble them like this. Those legs definitely extend, but I think they're very stiff. But anyway, let's get this in. There we go. This is, it's very delicate. Well, it's not very delicate. It just feels, I'm afraid to break something, you know. I'm afraid pushing in on it is going to just break something, because there's so many moving parts on him. Is that it fully in? It is. But let's get the other leg on there just to get a bit of stabilization on him. Yeah, it's just he's a bit finicky, and I don't really know where to put my hand to press things on. I'm afraid I might break something off, but there we go. I think that's it. That's his legs on there. His legs are attached. Those legs are supposed to extend, but they are very stiff, and I'm not sure I should, if my memory serves me correct, I shouldn't really extend the legs while they're on him because it'll put pressure on the other side. Just move that out of the way and see if I can extend those legs. They're very, very stiff. Is there a release button? I don't think there's a release button. No, they're just very stiff. I don't really want to force it. I'll take a look at that a bit later on, I suppose. Is that a release button there? No, I don't think so. No, I think if my memory serves me correctly, they're just extremely stiff, and it takes a bit of effort to pull them up and extend them. And if I extend one side without extending the other, I could put pressure on one, or on the joints. So for now, I can't get them to cooperate, but we will take a look at them a bit later on. And now we'll just attach his right arm into the socket there. If I can get it to clip in. It's one of those that once it snaps in, it's in. But again, I just don't know where to put my left hand to kind of put pressure on it to get it to clip in. It's very, very stiff. There we go. Very stiff, very difficult to get in. Just having that fear of breaking something, I suppose, because he is all plastic. There's not a single... I haven't fully got that in frame, guys. I beg your pardon. There we go. Yeah, there is absolutely no die-cast parts on this guy. He is all plastic. 2013, as I said, this came out, so I don't think they were incorporating die-cast into anything at that point. Again, with my left hand, I don't really know what to hold on to push this in. It's all strong enough. It's just I have this kind of fear of breaking something. There we go. Anyway, that was a bit scary, I'm not gonna lie. That was a bit scary. So here we have him more or less fully assembled. So let's get into the details of him, I suppose. Oh, I just elbowed my camera. So here we have him standing up, completely put together, and I'll just give him a quick up and down pan, before we get into the finer details of him. And you can see that he is exceptionally detailed. Let me just turn him to the side there. They used miniatures in the movie, for the stop motion, and to be honest with you, this could be one of those. There's that much detail in it. It's amazing. It's so intricately detailed, all up the legs. All of the details from the ED-209 in the movie are absolutely there. Every single detail. There's not a detail missed, I don't think, from what I can remember from the movie. But in my usual fashion, I suppose, while I give him a pan there again to the side, we will start from bottom to top and go through the details a bit closer. Just have a quick look at the back actually before we get into the details. Like I said, this is basically a replica of the miniature they would have used for the stop motion in the movie. It is absolutely spot on, with the little lack of maybe a little bit of the burned effect around the weapons where the weapons are fired. Apart from that, it is absolutely an absolute replica of one of those miniatures they would have used. There is a little bit of weathering in it there. You can see there's oil kind of coming out of the screws, and there is a battle damage version of this with some battle damage paint applications on it. From what I could see from the photos, they weren't anything superior, or to this. They weren't anything special, the battle damage applications that they'd put on. But let's go ahead and start from bottom to top, I suppose. So starting from bottom to top, we'll have a look at his legs. And every part here, what would we call those? We'll call them toes for now. They are articulated, like as you can see there, they do move forward and back. There is a bit of stiffness to everything, nothing is flimsy. It is quite stiff. There is movement, pivot from side to side as well, which is fantastic. So it's not just up and down, it is a pivot from side to side. And just looking in, if I can just get the angle right, you can see that there are some wires in there, just like it is in the movie. Just, if I just pick them up there, I suppose we'll get bit closer in. You can see just all inside here, there are all the wires that are in it in the movie, full detail all in there. Some red and green wires and some silver bits, and then around to the side you can see there are some more details of the electronics and stuff that are running up his leg, fully detailed. Just in these areas here, you can see there is a little bit of dry brushing done and weathering. He's not just, fully clean. He is actually, looks like he is a bit used, and you can see around this area here, there is some dry brushing as well on these edges and stuff, just to give that effect, to give it a bit more realism. And as I aforementioned, just looking at the screw holes there are a bit, oil grease leaking out, just to add a bit more detail to it. I can't remember if that's movie accurate. I'd assume it is, having the oil coming out of the screw holes. And we have some warnings. Even if I zoom in on that warning sticker there, there's no reading it. And on this patch here we have a warning that says, can't really see it, dangerous substances, caution for use with information technology, I think that says. My eyes aren't what they used to be. I can't really read that. My eyesight is struggling to get into that there. No, hang on a second while I get my magnifying glass. So, caution for use with information technologies equipment. Oh, it's written in Spanish. The rest of it is written in Spanish. Okay, that's why I couldn't read it. And then up there we have danger, and there's no chance of reading that one there, even with my magnified glasses on. And you can just see around the back here as well, around the back of the foot. I'm afraid to twist them too much. Just around the back here we have some more wiring molded in. There's molded in wire, and there is some actual wire in there as well to give a bit, more detail to it, and a bit more realism and relief to them. Really, really highly detailed in and around that leg area at the bottom there. So there isn't any, I can't see any details spared. I'm struggling to get those legs to go up. I really wish those legs would go up. If I recall, if my memory serves me correct, they're just very, very, very stiff, and I have to take the leg off to extend them. So we will get that done before the review is over, I promise. So moving up to kind of the top of his leg, you can see where I was just pushing in there. That is kind of replicates the hydraulic that moves when he walks back and when he walks, it moves back and forward when he walks, and it's fully functioning, which is a nice detail. It's a little bit loose, but not too loose. Just around the screws there, I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up, but there is some kind of, say, airbrushed parts, just around some of the. It could have been done a little bit more detailed. There could have been a bit more of a wash put into it. It's not the end of the world. It is a clean version. It's not the battle damage version, so it's not the end of the world. Just a little bit more washing in some of those crevasses and creases would have added that little bit more detail. But I will say again, it was 2013. I will move this camera up a little bit. It's very hard to get them all into frame. And then moving up, we have his arm. And his arm is again fully articulated. I'll just get it down a little bit. Max, what's it say? Max PY 200 M100, is it? Again, I'm struggling to see it. We have this part here does move. It articulates just like it did in the movie. It moves up and down. And then on the other side, we have the same text, and we have this part moves as well. On the front, we have his two cannons. And as I said, fully articulated. It does move up and down, in and out. It will go pretty much anywhere you want it to go. And there is kind of a clicking effect that, it is ratcheted. That arm is ratcheted, and it's a really strong ratchet as well. And just getting into the details of in here, you can see we have all this metal look. Like I said earlier, it is plastic, it's not die cast, but this is all made to look like a silver metal material, and it does the job. And you can see it does articulate. Now the rubber does kind of come out of its seated position if you over articulate it, but it's not the end of the world. But it can absolutely articulate pretty much anywhere you want it to go. And even if I just pull this back in here, even the cannons, they do rotate as they did. So yeah, full articulation on this, which is phenomenal. It has every single piece of articulation it needs. Just moving into the back of the arm, you can see we have some more wires. With the red and black one, we have these hydraulic cables, which are done really nice as well. There's a nice kind of textured look to them. You do have to kind of mind that rubber piece there and get it lined up so it doesn't come out of its seated position, and just all the intricate details that are all on the inside here. No detail spared, and these flaps move up and down as they did in the movie to reveal, and that'll reveal kind of some more details there and where those hoses go into and where this wire all goes in. So magnificent craftsmanship from hottoys here. It's absolutely magnificent craftsmanship. This is one of the most intricate figures or pieces that I have anyway, by a long shot. So many moving parts, so many pieces of articulation. If I just pull them forward here, just get a bit more into frame. Just going back to the legs as well, you can see that the legs there is a rotation here. They're on a ball there. So again, there's so much more articulation. They'll go outwards and obviously back in. They're on a pivot. Huge amount of articulation out of this thing. It's for what it is and the year it was made, it's absolutely phenomenal. I'm gonna have to move the camera up again just to get the rest of them into frame, and we'll take a look at the top of them. Looking at the front here, we have this grill at the front. We have some wire in it. I don't remember that yellow wire being so prominent in the movie. I'd have to look back again. But there is a bit of depth to it. They are actually holes. It's not just a flat piece, made to look like a grill. It actually is a grill. And there is a bit of weathering on it, a bit of dry brushing done to it. And just moving around to the right arm, which has a little bit more detail than the left. Same wiring effect all running through it, same amount of articulation as you can see. And it does have that strong ratchet, and it does rotate. But we have on the right arm here the added feature of the rockets. So if you just pull this part out here like so, actually, as a matter of fact, what I'll have to do is I'll put this piece on first. This part, I think it's a rangefinder, maybe, I'm not sure, but it pushes out whenever he, activates the rockets. This pushes forward, and then the rockets come out like so, or the rocket mount comes out like so. You can see all the wires in it there, all the detailed separate wires. And this metal piece here with a bit of wash in it, there's a little bit of wash put on it, so a bit of detail, And then what you do is you take your rockets and you just slide them in. Now, to be honest, I would have liked these rockets to be a little bit of a darker red. They're too bright as far as I can remember from the movie. These rockets are a little bit too bright, and they just look a bit toyish. They look a little bit toyish, and a little bit of a wash maybe in them as well would have been nice, but not the end of the world. It won't go back down. It won't, resituate with the rockets in it, which is a bit of a bummer. I would have liked to have left the rockets in it and loaded and being able to be put back down, but it's not the end of the world. You can just leave them like that, and that looks pretty sweet. That looks great. And then looking at the front of the arm, you can see we have more wiring all running through it there, all real cable, connected to his cannon, and then you can rotate as well. Yeah, I think he turns like that when he's shooting his rockets. I can't quite remember from the scene in the movie. And then underneath we have, again, this moving part just like on the other arm. A little bit stiffer than the other side, but it moves. And again, like I said, full articulation. Absolutely incredible piece of kit this is. Absolutely incredible. And the same, just have a quick look at the leg on this side. It's exactly identical to the other leg. All the warnings, fully articulated, as you can see, and has the pivot and all of the oil coming out of the screw holes. So just moving around to the back now, and if I just pull them back again, as you can see, even more articulation there to move the body of them back so far. And just having a look at the top of them, and we have some warnings. Is that warnings? No, there's no text on them. I think they are. I think there is supposed to be text. I'd have to look back in the movie. I can't remember. But that is completely movie accurate from what I can remember. Those tubes were there, those stickers were there, everything that's there was in the piece in the movie. And around every screw there is, like I said, like an airbrushed effect to them, just to give them a bit of staining, like they've been screwed in and screwed out, And if I lift them up again, you can see we have what look like a couple of exhaust vents. Would they be exhaust vents, I suppose? They are there in the movie. I can't recall them being... I assume they're exhaust vents, guys. And then we have more wires just here. If I just get them around, just turn them around to the side here and just move this out of the way. We have more wires and cables plugged into these little round parts here. So fully detailed. This piece here at the front, if I just pull this down a bit, as you can see, so much articulation out of this thing. Look how much that bends down. That's amazing. Look at that. That's like looking right down. Look. Absolutely amazing. And just at the back, just with them pushed forward like that, we have more of that rubber protection kind of on them there. We have the battery pack there, and we have the on-off switch for the sound effects. And I just turn them back around again, and we'll have a look. He's just lost one of his rockets there. It's just falling out. Just pop that back in there. There we go. This part here, this mesh piece here, or rubber piece, I don't know what it's like a rubber. It kind of is a rubber. It's very sticky. It's very tacky. As I said previously, it didn't survive. A lot of people had to replace this part, or make something themselves, and you do have to be careful with this. I think there's a foam backing behind that, so if I was to push too hard on it, I think I'd probably dent it or crack it. So it is very delicate, that piece, and even Hottoys at some point put out like a notification on how to try and prevent it from cracking. But as you can see there, he looks upwards as well. There's so much articulation. What an amazing piece of technology for 2013, back in the day. Absolutely amazing. On point. I'm not sure if they'll do a 3.0. I would call this the 2.0, because they did have a clean version in 2006, a damaged version in 2007. So just looking at the front there, you can see those silver pieces as well. But yeah, so I would call this a 2.0. Will they bring out a 3.0? Who knows? I am going to see if I can swap out the arm and put the battle damaged arm on. Getting the arms out of these sockets is very difficult. Very scary. And yeah, I just don't know where to be holding on to him to pull this off. I'm actually going to pause this video and I'm going to swap it out off camera. And I'll put the damaged arm on. Okay, so just before I go through the arms, the details on the arm, I do want to point out that I did get the legs extended. As you can see, the legs are up now. So I just have a measuring tape here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the height of him at full extension, because he is quite tall. And he's roughly around, I'd say 16.5 inches, is he? Maybe 16.5, maybe 16.75. Yeah, somewhere between 16.5, 16.75. So that is quite tall, guys. That is quite a tall piece. That's at full leg extension, obviously. Something else I failed to point out on the legs as well when I was going through them, if I can just move this out of the way, is they do have a swivel on them as well, As you can see, they swivel in and outwards, and these flaps articulate as well. They go in and out as well. It's something else that I failed to mention. The extension on the legs, it wasn't a release button or anything like that. I had forgotten how to extend them. They're just so stiff, like scary stiff. I thought I was going to break it. Realistically, you have to take I had to take them off the body to get the legs up. So moving up to the final detail, actually what I'll do is I'll do the sound effects, I think, if it'll work for me. No, the sound effect isn't working. It's a bit moody. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. No, it's not working. That's just brilliant. The batteries must be dead. No. The light's going on. So I don't think it's the batteries. So the batteries in that aren't dead. Have I got it switched on? Pretty sure I have it switched on. So why are we getting nothing from the sound effects? I would say maybe the batteries in the body of it are dead. Maybe I put dead batteries in it. That is a shame. But I will get it working before I'll definitely get it working in the next few minutes, guys, and we'll have a look at the sound effects. But for now, we'll move on to the battle damaged arm. If anybody recalls from the movie, he actually shoots his own arm off in the movie when RoboCop bends his arm towards it and he shoots his own arm off. As you can see, we still have full rotation, full articulation, full movement. And I've just dropped another rocket out of the right. Brilliant. Yeah, we still have full rotation from everything. It's just battle damage, as you can see. And there is quite a bit of detail in there. You can see the remnants of the cannon, or one of the cannons, just here. And all of the wires and cables and, you know, just immensely detailed, you know, as expected from Hot Toys. There are damaged cables there and some battle damage kind of dry brushing on the sides of it there and on around it and around the edges. So there are options there for how you want to pose them. If you want to, you know, you can have them at full height, you can have them lower down, you can have them right to the bottom, you can have them battle damaged or completely clean. There are so many options. He articulates absolutely everywhere you can think. Just having a look at the details again on that arm, and it's just absolutely superb. So there you go, guys. There is the Hot Toys ED-209. Like I said, in light of the RoboCop 2 and the RoboCane figures being teased, I thought this was the ideal time to review this ED-209 figure. I wonder, will there be an update on this guy? To be honest with you, he's absolutely perfect. I could still see Hot Toys doing another one, but this is an absolute masterpiece. An absolute masterpiece. So, you know, it still wouldn't surprise me if they update it, but it's really not needed, to be honest. It's not needed unless they put some die cast parts in and up the price or rescale it. Maybe it could do with being rescaled. I'm not sure, you know, because the bodies are getting bigger on the figures. Would a RoboCop 3 figure sit next to this in scale? I know my RoboCop 1 figure is quite small compared to some of the updates that they've done. So maybe they would do this and rescale it and make it bigger. I am struggling to get them all in frame, guys. You can see my lights there, the edge of my lights there in the corner. And yeah, I just am getting, you know, struggling to get them into frame, especially at full extension. But there we go. There is the Hot Toys MMS 204 ED-209. So guys, thanks for watching. Please don't hesitate to hit that like and subscribe button. And as per usual, I'll leave you with some images and keep your eye out for future content. Thanks a lot and take care. Just one more thing, guys. I want to do a height comparison, I suppose, between himself and RoboCop. As you can see, this is the battle damage RoboCop. There is quite a difference. He is in scale to RoboCop. I'm not sure if the newer RoboCop figure is the same height as the older battle damage one, but in regard to this older version of RoboCop, he is in scale to him. I'll just pop them side by side and get a better idea of how much bigger than RoboCop he actually is. So on the shelf, that is quite a significant, you know, difference in the height on them. So there you have it, guys. There is the height comparison. Oh, just one more thing, guys. As promised, the sound effects, I got them working. There we go. That's the first one.
Please put down your weapons. You have 20 seconds to comply.
And then
You now have 15 seconds to comply. You are in direct violation of Penal Code 113, Section 9. You now have 5 seconds to comply. 4, 3, 2, 1. I am now authorized to use physical force.
I think that's it. And that's it. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching and take care. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Hey cat, get out of my video. Come on, kitty cat. Get out of my video, cat. No.